Good morning. My name is Katie Mueller, and I am here before you to share what my faith in the church means to me. I first wanted to introduce myself. I am the daughter of two parents who have always encouraged me to be curious about my faith and to show up faithfully for my family, my friends, and my community. My sister and I both attended Catholic school for 13 years, where I first learned and studied theology, values, and developed my moral compass, with the help of our school, my church, and my family. I met Brian, my husband, at the age of 19, and we have traversed through all major and minor life events together since then. This year we will be married 7 years. Brian was also raised with similar values in the Lutheran Church. We then welcomed our greatest gift, our daughter, into the world. We began attending this church about 2 years ago. When I used to think about faithful living and what I wanted in a church community, I expected some type of aha moment, some grand realization or crystal clear sense of calling. I used to think that I needed to find the perfect church before I could really dig my heels in, give fully of my time, my resources, and my heart. But here's what I've learned, and ironically what Pastor Marvin's sermon at our daughter's baptism last year preached. Sometimes faith does not start with clarity or inspiration. Sometimes it starts with showing up. I didn't have a lightning bolt moment, nor did I wake up one day feeling filled with a faithful direction or purpose. What actually happened was a bit more ordinary. I started showing up. Brian and I found Presbyterian preschool online and scheduled a tour. We were immediately embraced by a group of teachers and the lovely Marisa McGovern. We felt an immediate comfort during our tour, which led to our daughter's journey here, through which we have watched her blossom, thrive, learn, and reach milestones. I know for certain that this is largely in part due to Presby's remarkable team of educators. Just last week, I was helping her put her socks on. She had a Goldilocks moment where none of her socks were fitting, and we subsequently went through 5 pairs of socks, all of which were the same size and brand. I began to lose my patience, and she noticed, stopped, and looked at me. She said, "Mommy, this is just how God made me." Immediately, tears welled in my eyes, and I knew that she was right, and that through our guidance, our family's guidance, and our schooling here, including in Sunday school, that she was developing her own knowledge and embarking upon her own journey with God. 2 years ago, we also began attending worship on Sundays. I sat in the pews and I listened, even when I didn't feel like it. My feet and my heart seemed to always bring me back. We became members, and through the new member class, I met Maggie Stell, one of the most statuesque, loving, and steadfast individuals who is a pillar here, and who made us immediately feel welcome. Over time, something began to shift. Not dramatically, not loudly, just in little glimmers. I started to notice and become friendly with those around me. Bob Lehman, who sits in the pew in front of me. What began with a smile or a "Hi, how are you?" has developed into a friendship where I find so much joy in hearing about he and Janet's family, weekly happenings, and travel plans, simply just because of showing up every Sunday. I began to notice those who are largely involved in making this congregation what it is. Deb Nussbaum swiftly became my mentor, and if you know Deb at all, you will understand that after one meeting, I found myself as a member of the Congregational Life Committee and as part of the Social Connections Ministry, serving members of our community with intellectual disabilities. And for this, I could not be more grateful. Deb's heart and soul are in this church, and I find so much joy in watching her operate. Through Social Connections, I also met Joyce Stepp. When I think of showing up, I think of Joyce. Mother of 4, grandmother of many, still working. Joyce and I share a similar background in healthcare. I think what I admire most about Joyce is that she is never too busy or too overwhelmed to show up. Her plate is always full, yet she is somehow always present. And so, it turns out that I didn't need to find the perfect church. I didn't need to wait until I felt 100% ready or inspired. What I needed to do was to begin. To give what I could, even if it felt small at times. To be present. To trust that God met me in showing up. Not in the big, dramatic gestures, but in the slow and steady rhythm. That, to me, is stewardship. It's not about writing a check or signing up for a committee, though I do both. It's about saying, here I am, I'm in, and I'll keep showing up. My hope is that by sharing my story, someone who may have previously been hesitant, someone who is introverted, someone who, like me, has a young child, children, a family, a full-time job, and a slew of other responsibilities, creating a perceived lack of time, someone who lacks confidence or the ability to take the first step, will show up in whatever capacity they can. Thank you.